Okay guys, first of all, I already know I haven't been on here. I know that I haven't been posting, and I know that I have not been consistent at all. Second of all, welcome back. Thank you for clicking on my video. Thank you for joining this. Hello? Excuse me? Gordon, go back. Move back, go back. Thank you. Anyways, I'm gonna continue even though he's literally right there. Anywho, last time I posted on YouTube was probably a year ago. It was right before I was going to New York, and I was gonna post the New York vlog, but it just was never finished. I never finished editing it because every time I film a video, mind you, I have like 10 pre-filmed videos that I never end up posting, because when I'm in the editing process, I either see things that I don't like, or I'm like, this is stupid, the time has already passed, nobody cares, nobody wants to see this, which is like so negative and like depressing, but it's the truth, and I end up not posting anything, and that's the reason, that's one of the main reasons why I'm not consistent. Second of all, sometimes I feel like my life is boring. Like a lot of the times I'm just watching TV. Anywho, I wanted to come back and give you guys kind of a recap on the past year and what has gone on in my life since the last time I posted on YouTube. His nails are so loud. So at the end of the summer, I went to New York. I don't know if I ever said the reason why I was going to New York, but I went to New York because my sister was having a baby. So now I am an auntie. Her name is Luna. She's adorable. Maybe she'll have her debut on my vlog. We'll see. And then after that, I went to school for my last year, my senior year of college. And going into college, I had 3 really big things that were pretty much my priority and my main focus. Number 1 was track, because that is a big part of my life. Number 2 was graduating, obviously. And number 3 was my senior thesis film that I had to make in order to graduate. So going into my last year, I had a lot on my plate trying to balance all of those. And with track, I was doing PT, trying to rehab, trying to get back to 100% so that I could start training and then compete when our season started. But around January time, I started to have more pain in my knee. Mind you, after my surgery that happened in June last summer, I still had pain in my knee, but I couldn't decipher like what was red flag pain and what was, oh, this is healing, this is normal pain. So January time, my pain just was like really bad, and I have a high pain tolerance, so if it's really bad, that's when I start to become alarmed. So I was like, hey, by the way, my knee does not feel best. And so my doctor was like, oh, that doesn't sound good, let's do an MRI. Long story short, my MRI showed that I tore my meniscus skin. So that pretty much scratched my last year of competing, because I ended up having to get surgery again. And that was like a 7-month time frame, from June when I got my first knee surgery, and then February this year with my second knee surgery. And I didn't end up filming it because a lot was going on during that time. It was just a lot. So I don't know, the most interesting times of my life, I never think to pick up a camera. But I pick up a camera for everything else. Like, oh, I got a new plant today, let me film this. Like, that's how it is. But it's never like, oh, my knee is hanging off, like, let me film this. I'm gonna try to be better about that, because I always have crazy shit going on. Long story short, that's what happened with track. I ended up having to get surgery, and I couldn't run my last year. So track was off of my plate because it was no longer something that I could do. And to be honest, I feel like everything happens for a reason. All my other years of school, I was pretty much able to balance track and school equally. Like, I wasn't really overwhelmed, but this year school was extremely time consuming, and I honestly don't feel like I would have been able to do school and track my last year, because I feel like just school alone had me going through it. So that would have just been too much, having to travel and do school and have a bunch of meetings and stuff. Now switching over to school, I had to do my senior project. I had an original story planned out, but that ended up falling through, so I ended up doing a different story, and I ended up filming that. If you guys go on my Instagram, you can see the reel that I made about behind the scenes of making my senior film. And then if you guys follow my film Instagram, you guys can see how we made it, and then eventually the actual film once we release it. And so that took up a huge chunk of my time. And outside of that, I still had other classes and, you know, the rest of school that I had to make sure I passed and got through, because it would suck to like put all my focus into one thing and then like fail another class or like mess up in another class. So I made sure I gave my 110% in everything, because because I was like, after these 5 hard years, like I'm not about to go down now. And then outside of that, I was at the gym one day and I saw an email from the school and it was like, oh, you've been selected as a valedictorian finalist. And I was like, what? Like, I kid you not, I never in 1,000 years thought that I could be like a possible valedictorian. I had good grades, I had a high GPA, but I knew other people in my class who had higher GPAs and were just as good at school or better. And so it just never in 1,000 years, like that wasn't something that I was like working towards or like thought that I could get. So I was just shook, like literally was shook, confused as hell. I was like, what? This is crazy. I called my entire family and I was like, guys, what is going on? Like, what is happening? So to be a valedictorian finalist, you have to go through a series of interviews. You have one interview, and then if you make it through that round, you go to a second interview. And then from the 2 interviews, they pick one person. And I think they had like 500 students, and then they narrowed it down to one person after all the interviews. And that person was me, and I was just overwhelmed with emotion. I was like crying because I was like, these 5 years have been so difficult. And then I like all of that sadness and happiness just bottled up into like anxiety because I knew that valedictorians have to give a speech. When it became real that I had to give a speech, valedictorian was like, oh, this great thing. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not going into graduation like everybody else, like, oh, we did it. This is such an exciting time. Let's release all the stress. Like, no, I'm going into graduation extra stressed because now I have to get on stage in front of thousands of people and talk. Oh my God. Long story short, come the day of graduation, it actually went really well. When I got to graduation, I had to check in with the people. They took me to this back room. Maybe I'll put in a video here so you guys can see.
So guys, today it's the day of graduation. I just practiced my speech. I'm a little nervous, I'm not even gonna lie. But they gave me a little dressing room. See, it says valedictorian, and I have like snacks and stuff. Super cute. Anywho, wish me luck.
And then I had to practice my speech prior to the ceremony, and they took me out and I got on stage and they were like talking their little microphone, you know, like, okay, tell me when you guys are ready. And then I guess they told the lady that they were ready, and I look up, but there's this big ass screen in front of me that literally is the video of whoever's on the stage talking. So I was like, not only do I have to give this speech, but you guys are going to film my face and put it on the screen so that when I'm talking, I can see myself. Oh my God, I literally started shaking. Like when I got back to my room after I practiced the speech, I kept practicing it over and over and over again because I was just overwhelmed. And like when it comes to nerves, I'm the type of person where I'm like, I have prepared as much as I can prepare, let me just do it. Even with track, I always wanted to be in like heat 1 because I just wanted to run and get it over with. Not in a bad way, but I was like, I'm ready now, I'm focused, let me just do it. So that's exactly how it was with the speech. I just wanted to like get it over with. And after I practiced my speech, we had like an hour and a half of waiting time before I actually had to do it. So I was just like, oh my God, it was too much. I'll insert the video of my speech here. It's about 3 minutes long. If you don't want to watch it, skip 3 minutes. If you do want to watch it, enjoy.
Please welcome Bachelor of Fine Arts valedictorian, Hava Turner. Motion pictures
Thank you, everyone. Good morning and welcome, fellow graduates, faculty, family, and friends. Thinking back, our first semester at the Academy was a transitional period in our lives. For me, I moved over 2,000 miles away from home to a new city. I carried aspirations of learning what it took to become a film director, all while balancing being a full-time student and athlete. That moment in time was very intimidating for me, and maybe it was for you too. Some of you became the first in your family to go to college. Some of you experienced a major culture shock. And some of you decided to blaze a new, unexpected trail and pursue a career in art. Through the years, many of us have experienced both personal and universal obstacles on the way to this moment. We live in a society where we're encouraged to keep moving, keep grinding through, and never look back. But what we fail to realize is that this lifestyle frequently overshadows the acknowledgement of our successes. As an athlete, my mind is always in drive mode, always looking ahead with little time to slow down to see what I have accomplished. During my time at Art U, I endured hip surgery, 2 knee surgeries, and kidney failure. To be honest, at one point I felt I couldn't catch a break. I was so hyper-focused on the things that didn't go as planned and how I could work harder to do better that I wasn't able to have a perspective on my life as a whole. It wasn't until I was given the opportunity to prepare for today and reflect that I fully realized all that I had achieved. So with that, I am here today to tell you to stop right now. Slow down and embrace this moment. Take the time to recognize all the things we accomplished despite those obstacles. We fell in love and out of love and then back in love with our work. We created fashion lines and acted in our first movies. We got our scripts made, interned at our dream design firm, had our first group shows, and produced podcasts. We might have even learned how to do our own laundry and get around a big city like this. It might seem cliche, but these are the moments we must remember when times get tough. And I believe we must not get caught up in measuring our success only through the acknowledgement from others, because the acknowledgement that means the most comes from within. Congratulations, graduates.
So that was my speech, and I stumbled over that one word, which really pisses me off. But at least everything after that went well and smoothly. So a huge thing that I really was looking forward to was my graduation gift from my mom. And this gift I've been wanting for some years now. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys probably already know what the graduation gift was. But I asked my mom for a dog. So I'm gonna go grab him so you guys can see what he looks like. Here he is. Say hello. So this is Draco. Of course I named him Draco like Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter. But I also named him Draco because Draco means dragon. And Shiba Inus are actually Japanese hunting dogs. And dragon in Japanese means balance, freedom, good luck, health, strength. And so he kind of represents all of those things for me in terms of graduation and stepping into a new chapter of my life and getting through the chapter of college. He literally is just like my new best friend. And he's so cute. Anywho, that's pretty much my entire life update. Pretty much everything that's happened in the past year. Now I'm back home in St. Louis until I move to the next place. Over the summer, I'm going to be visiting my dad, of course. So Trent will probably be on here again. And then I'm going to New York at the end of July. So I will vlog New York this time. And I will actually end up posting it and like make it good for you guys because I didn't do it last time. And I actually yesterday got an MRI on my shoulder because I might need surgery on my shoulder. So if that ends up happening, I will film the surgery this time. I hope you guys enjoyed my recap. Like, subscribe, share to your friends, share to your page, you know, do all that fun stuff. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.